Because obviously there could be a microphone that I generally decide is the one that I like best overall and will likely use in most of my recordings, but every now and then I might be going for something different than that specific tone for a specific project, and one of these other microphones might be the one for that. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, then welcome to the chaos. I do all things music related on here, from audio engineering content to production and songwriting challenges to just talking about music and musician life. And today I'm doing another kind of mic shootout video, but a different kind of mic shootout video to some of the others I've done in the past. I'm not taking 2, 3, 4 microphones of the same type and directly comparing them to each other to see which one I generally like better. The purpose of today's video is that I wanted to take every single microphone that I own that I would consider using on vocals and actually do a comparison between them, doing basically the same vocal performance and seeing which one I liked best, which ones I could see having applications for different reasons. Within this video, I have 2 different dynamic microphones, 1 small diaphragm condenser microphone, and 4 large diaphragm condensers? Yeah, and all except for 1 are microphones that I actually own. The only one I don't own is the Neumann U87. I am in Haus Studios today, and they have a Neumann U87, and I have used that on projects in the past. They have recorded me through that on projects in the past, so I already kind of knew how that sounded on my vocal, and I actually have never been that tempted to get one myself for that reason, because basically if I was going to be recording anybody else's vocal, most of the time going forward, I will either be doing that here at Clubhouse, where there is a U87 that I can use, or I would be looking to get somebody to record their vocal at a distance. But I wanted to include that one in the video because I wanted to basically use what is widely considered a go-to standard in the industry and compare all these other microphones to that as well as to each other, partially to prove to myself that I was right about my choice and that I am happy that I have what I believe to be the microphone that I think sounds best on my vocal overall. Side note, there is a microphone that features in the footage where I'm actually in the booth recording each of the different takes that I have done for this mic comparison that is not featured in the video. There is an SE mic in that. I forget which make and model it specifically is. I haven't bothered testing that microphone because the purpose of today's video is to test out different microphones on my vocal specifically. And I've already tested that microphone on my vocal previously, and I know that I absolutely hate how it sounds. So there was no point in me testing out that microphone again now. I've already made my conclusions on that microphone. I know I will never use that one on my vocal. It doesn't sound good. And that's not just me saying that. My friend who was engineering the session where we used that microphone also agreed when we were doing a shootout directly between that and the Neumann. We went with the Neumann microphone, and the main reason being that when we both listened to that SE mic, we were like, that sounds awful. That sounds really bad on your vocal. Let's never touch that microphone again. Anyway, not the point of this video, but I also just really wanted to have a good comparison and a good think about each of these different types of microphone I actually have access to, and which ones I might consider using in a different project where I wanted my voice to sound a particular way based on like the genre I was doing or the type of video I was doing, and why I might apply a different microphone in that setting. And also having this as like a reference point in my mind will, I think, help me pick out the right microphone for other people's vocals when I'm recording them, and for other tasks in general. It's just very good to get to know each of your different mics. Anywho, we want to get to the fun bit of the video, so first things first, I just need to do the basic admin of letting you know that every single one of these microphones has been recorded in through a Neve preamp over there. I have not recorded them all in at the same kind of gain level on that mic pre, because we're testing very different types of microphone, and the sensitivity levels ranged so much that there was no practical way for me to do like a direct comparison where I didn't change the gain level. I mean, I could have done that, but I don't think that would have actually been a very good comparison between the microphones, because I would never actually record in, for instance, the SE V7 in at the same level I've recorded in the various condenser microphones, because they would have recorded in way quieter. That's not how I'd actually use that microphone. And the test I actually wanted to do here was more how I would actually use these microphones and actually trying to get the levels roughly right on each microphone for it to sound good. Because there was also going to be the fact that I literally could not have maintained the same distance from every single microphone to get a genuinely good performance out of each of them. Again, The SEV7 in particular, it needs you to be basically on top of that microphone for those quieter notes. Whereas this microphone tends to need me to back up a little bit more when I get louder, and the SE4400s and the AT4033 in particular, they tend to need me to back up quite a bit on the higher notes. So I haven't been able to maintain a particular distance from them either, but it's quite important to me that a microphone for my vocal deals with that big shift pretty well. Because obviously, the more you back up from a microphone, the more you also lose bass, not just volume. Let's compare them one at a time. We'll start with the U87.
Sunsets in a cloudy sky, watching as the world goes by. Well, they might say it's wasting time, and time is golden, it's golden. Trying to climb that ladder high, working as the world goes by. Well, they might say it's wasting time, and time is golden, it's golden. But what does that mean? What does it mean? Tell me how I qualify this life of mine, and now I spend the time right. Sunsets in a cloudy sky, watching as the world goes by. Well, they might say it's wasting time, and time is golden, it's golden. Trying to climb that ladder high, looking as the world goes by. Well, they might say it's wasting time, and time is golden, it's golden. But what does that mean? What does it mean? Tell me how I qualify this life of mine, and now I spend the time right. Sunsets in a cloudy sky, watching as the world goes by. Well, they might say it's wasting time, and time is golden, it's golden. Trying to climb that ladder high, working as the world goes by. Well, they might say it's wasting time, and time is golden, it's golden. But what does that mean? What does it mean? Tell me how I qualify this life of mine, and now I spend the time right. Sunsets in a cloudy sky, watching as the world goes by. Well, they might say it's wasting time, and time is golden, it's golden. Trying to climb that ladder high, working as the world goes by. Well, they might say it's wasting time, time is golden, it's golden. But what does that mean? What does it mean? Tell me how I qualify this life of mine, and now I spend the time right. Sunsets in a cloudy sky, watching as the world goes by. Well, they might say it's wasting time, and time is golden, it's golden. Trying to climb that ladder high, working as the world goes by. Well, they might say it's wasting time, time is golden, it's golden. But what does that mean? What does it mean? Tell me how I qualify Sunsets in a cloudy sky, watching as the world goes by. Well, they might say it's wasting time, and time is golden, it's golden. Trying to climb the ladder high, looking as the world goes by. Well, they might say it's wasting time. Time is golden, it's golden, but what does that mean? What does it mean? Tell me how I qualify this life of mine, and now I spend the time right. Sunsets in a cloudy sky, watching as the world goes by. Well, they might say it's wasting time, and time is golden, it's golden. Trying to climb the ladder high, looking as the world goes by. Well, they might say it's wasting time. Time is golden, it's golden, but what does that mean? What does it mean? Tell me how I qualify this life of mine, and now I spend the time right.
Okay, so obviously I listened to those back before I started filming this bit. I would be really interested to know people's opinions in the comments about which one you overall liked best on this particular recording I did. I mean, first things first, this is the microphone right here. This is the JZ V11. This is the one that I like best overall, even after doing this mic shootout. I was pretty certain before I did this video that this was the microphone that was going to win for me, because I've obviously already been using this microphone since I got it. I use it now in all of my videos for just my voiceover section, because I think it also is a really good voiceover mic. When I want to reach for a large diaphragm condenser to put on my vocal, this is the one I reach for these days. And I wanted to do this direct comparison, partially just to actually reassure myself that I'm not just picking this up because it was my new toy and I kind of liked how it sounded enough that it was, you know, that I was actually making a good choice here. So I needed to go back and remind myself what others would sound like in this setting and really do a proper comparison to test if I'm actually picking up the right mic each time. I am pretty confident I've found the mic for my voice with this one. When I compare it to the other large diaphragm condensers in the set, specifically the two that I own, because the Neumann I think this doesn't apply to so much, but the AT4033 and the SC4400, those are the other two that I actually have and have used to record my vocal in the past. All of my current release that I have been putting out, this song, the actual recording of this song that I've used in this video, was done on the SC4400 because I didn't own this mic yet at that time when I did those recordings. If only I could go back now and redo those vocals. Now I have this. And obviously the frequency response is part of what we're talking about there. But the other big thing I notice is that those two mics really don't like massive changes in the dynamic range. They just don't. Like, I don't have to get loud very quickly for me to have to turn the gain right down on both of those microphones. In fact, I would say that both of those mics are better applied to quieter vocals, to softer vocals. I think that both of my friends' vocals did not sound good through this when I did a mic shootout for them. One of them I recorded through the SC4400, the other one the AT4033. But the big thing with both of them was that the vocal overall was a lot softer. This one is still a very sensitive microphone. I do still have to back off from it when I get quite loud. Obviously, the ones that actually performed best in that way were both of the dynamic microphones. And for that reason, those are better microphones for live setting. In particular, my V7, I think, is the best microphone for me to use live. I think it sounds the best on my vocal. You get all of those low notes, in particular, those low quiet notes come through much better. But also, because of its dynamic response, because of the fact that I basically don't have to back up from it at all when I get quite loud, it suits me a great deal. In fact, I'd say I'm actually quite spoiled these days, and when I have to use other people's microphones live, I hate it. But overall, frequency response is the most important thing we're talking about here, and that backing up away from the microphone affects the frequency response as well. That's a big part of why I like that I don't have to back up as much from this, and also why I like that even though I have to back up a little bit still from it, the overall frequency response of this microphone, I think, compensates for the effect that that has on the others. Because obviously, proximity effect is what we're talking about here. The more you back up from the microphone, the less bass the microphone is going to pick up. And that becomes a problem when it comes to the fact that I am backing up for the notes I'm belting, and the notes I'm belting are already more likely to be somewhat tinny. If I'm then also backing up loads from the microphone and it's got an EQ response, that means there's nothing really compensating there for that, I just lose all warmth and body from my voice. And I think these days, when I actually directly compare the SE4400 that I used to record all my vocals on and this microphone that I have now from Jay-Z, it is extremely obvious to me that the boost that this has in the lower range, because it does have a bit of a boost in its lower range, really helps to compensate for that backing up. Whereas the SE4400s have got, they're quite a flat EQ response overall. And that's great for a lot of things, and it makes them a very versatile mic, but it doesn't make them the best mic for my vocal. But this one overall highlights parts of my voice that I think sound nicer, and softens parts of my voice that don't sound as nice, but doesn't lose clarity. I threw in my little pencil condenser, my AKG C451b that I recently got, because when I got that, I did a video just trying it out initially, and one of the things I opted to record was a vocal performance, because why not? It's not something quick and easy I could record with it. I did a little bit of guitar, I did a little bit of shaker, and I did a vocal performance. And I was actually pleasantly surprised by how much the vocal recording didn't hurt my ears. I actually like how my vocal sounds through this. When I directly compare it with the large diaphragm condensers in this mix, I can see how I think this has come out the thinnest of all of them. And I think that it's come out the one where there would have to be more added back in to that performance than would be on some of the others. Where with some of the others, I'd be looking more at taming a lot of things and pulling frequencies out. I'd probably be looking to saturate quite a bit on the AKG C451b recording, because that just doesn't have enough there to begin with. That's also how I often feel when I'm using my SEV7 to record like a live style video, which I quite often do because that is my go-to live mic. If I'm trying to do more of a live style video, like something for a show reel, or I want to do a vocal guitar recording and I don't want to faff about with frickin' phase issues, I pull out that microphone. Okay, I haven't really talked about the Neumann, have I? I don't think it complements my voice as well as this does. I think that I would be going in and looking to, again, use saturation and use EQ techniques to boost and attenuate in places to get the tone I would actually look to. This is closer to the tone that I would be looking for to begin with. Big thing being, none of the microphones that I have recorded through compare to this one in terms of the bass response at all. Well, not even the bass response. When I'm talking about bass in terms of voice rather than overall in the frequency spectrum there, I suppose. Because I'm more talking about those low-mid frequencies. So they all sound pretty and clean and clear, all of these other microphones, when I'm doing those softer notes. But they don't have quite that level of low-mid hum to them that this does. They really don't come through as smooth as this does. Anyway, I've sort of rambled a little bit about my thoughts, but the main purpose of this video was to give you guys the comparison bit. That's the important bit of the video. Everything I've rambled about since is mostly just trying to give you guys an understanding of how I feel about each of these recordings and how I would then apply these different mics. Feel free to share your opinions on each of the different microphones in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, then you might enjoy my content on this channel in general, in which case you might want to hit that subscribe button. But I know that's a big decision to make, so do feel free to watch something else before you do so. There'll be something recommended on the end screen for you. If you want to follow me elsewhere, all of my socials are linked below, and there's also a link down there if you have enjoyed the music in the video and you want to hear that song once it's out in the world. I'm not sure if this is going to go up before I put it out or after I put it out, but it will be out soon if it isn't already. Then links to all of my artist profiles and where you can stream my music are also in the description below. There's also one more link down there to a Buy Me a Coffee account where you can support me with money should you so choose. You can send one-off donations on there just to say cool video, or you can subscribe to one of my memberships and that gets you access to extra content. Okay, that's all for this video. I shall see you guys next time with another fun music related video of some sort. Bye.